Okay, hi guys, super quick video to show you a couple of tips and tricks with some charts. So last video we made up this chart basically with the average versus the range and standard deviation of my data set. I just wanted to show you how to do a couple of things. The first thing is sometimes it's nice to mix up types of charts. There's two ways to do this. You can click on the chart, go to chart tools, then go to chart data, change chart type, then go down to combo. Then you can go down and you can look at your different data and you can set what sort of data it's actually going to be. This can be very useful because it can show you interesting things or it can differentiate the data. One thing to be really wary of is how you represent your data can actually impact what it looks like. So for example, if I take this standard deviation line, which is the grey line here, and I throw it onto a secondary axis, then all of a sudden, if you're not careful and you're trying to read the graph, there's this line which is showing these huge differences compared to the other lines. But these other lines go from 0 to 40 degrees. But on the secondary axis, over on this right-hand side, we're only going from 0 to 6 degrees. So be careful not to distort your data. However, if we were going to do something like throw that onto a bar graph or a bar chart somewhere, having it on a secondary axis can point out certain features, especially if you look at this range line versus a standard deviation line. However, as we saw earlier, those two lines are practically the same anyway. And if you put them on the same graph, because one's a function of the other, basically. But it's worth having a look and having a play to see how those combinations could work for you. A couple of other tricks you can use. Look, throwing it onto that second axis is very useful to show two different things that are related or interlinked. We can also do things like change the line types. We click on it, go up to design or format in this case, shape outline, and then you can change the weight of the line, and you can do things like put dashes in there instead. So if I want to demonstrate a line was very different, I could do that. Very useful for linked data sets or things that basically work with each other. So that's graphs, pretty straightforward. Two important things: always remember your axis titles and make sure that your legend is in the right place. Sometimes you might want to move it up onto the graph itself to free up some space down the bottom, but always make sure it's very clear and everything is labeled correctly. A graph should be able to stand on its own with no other explanation. Okay, thanks very much.